Hey everyone, welcome back to Build Break and Beyond, and in today's episode we're going to tear through the 280S from bumper to bumper, see exactly what parts we need, what parts we don't have. We're going to see if the 6.9 liter V8 that was swapped into it is actually any good, and you're going to figure out why I had to buy this ginormous 50mm socket. So 28 years ago, this car was stored outside and really hasn't been cleaned or touched up or anything since then. So we're going to start at the front and work our way back, see exactly what we're missing, what we have, what parts need to be replaced, and give it a nice little general cleaning, but nothing too deep yet. And there's, about 3 decades of grime built up in here. So there should obviously be a huge air filter. That is not here. I'm hoping it's in the trunk. Also, there should be a radiator here that this would go to. That's also not here, and I'm hoping that's in the trunk. The previous owner said that there was a ton of parts in the trunk. I'm hoping those are some of them. One thing I've been finding kind of a lot of are these little shells, like a snail shell, and what I understand is that if a raccoon or a squirrel or something finds a snail, it'll take it into a place that it feels safe and it will eat them. So that's probably why there's about 2-3 dozen in this engine. Just in case anyone is wondering, this is not what your fuse panel should look like. This looks like there was a nest in here at some point, and all of this is going to have to come out, and probably all these fuses replaced too. Wow, these are old. It's nowhere near perfect, but it's a little bit better and a lot cleaner than it was. Alright, let's see what we got. So obviously this car phone is very original and it's definitely not moving. These just look like boxes with parts and bolts in them. So this is a note sheet that has a bunch of parts listed on it, and it doesn't have a date on it because it's just a regular notepad, but what it does have is a Chevy Corsica in the upper corner. The Corsica is a car that I really want to forget. They made it until about the mid-90s. So obviously this has been here for about 20 years and hasn't moved at all. That's going to be very handy. That obviously goes on the steering wheel there. This is some sort of fuse panel wiring diagram. These are business cards for Christ Temple Community Church. These note sheets have been left in the sun. You can barely read what they say. That's a bummer. This one looks like it has a diagram on it, but it's completely faded. Alright, this is the first time I've actually sat in the car since I've bought it, and this is so cool. I remember seeing car phones when I was growing up, but I've never actually had one in a car that I owned. This looks like the original radio, or at least a period correct one. Oh yeah, tape deck. This might be a bigger project than I thought. Obviously from the interior, it's going to need an entirely new carpet. I'm not sure how much of the seats can be salvaged. When I push down on this, I can just feel the foam compressing. It's not going to spring back. When I bought the car, it came with one key. He also did say that the trunk had a little bit of a hard time opening. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. Look at all of these parts. Looks like we got both headlights and turn signals here. The air cleaner cover is right there. The radiator, which I was worried about, is right here. So many other parts that we can work on. So let's take them all out. Over here we have a nice little hole that goes all the way down to the ground. Here are most of the parts that just came out of this car. That is a lot more than I was bargaining for. So at the beginning of this episode, I showed you this massive 50mm socket and told you I would show you why I had to buy it for this car. So when I went to buy the car, I had to check that the engine was still in working order and it wasn't seized. When an engine is seized, you can't turn it over. There are a multitude of reasons that this could happen, but every single one of them pretty much involves taking the engine completely apart and rebuilding it. So just a quick little check. I wanted to make sure that the engine would turn over. So this is the 50mm crank nut. If that will turn over, the entire engine will spin. So I picked this up. I threw a 3/4 inch adapter down to 1/2 inch, and I brought my breaker bar along with me and I tested it kind of like this. So obviously we have our work cut out for this. This is going to be a pretty intensive project. We're going to take it one step at a time, but make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you tune in so that you can see all the process of us getting this car from where it is now to driving all the way across country. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.